ॐ मेधा देवी जुषमाणा न आगाद्विश्वाची भद्रासु मनस्य माना वयाजुष्टानुदमाना दुरुक्तान् बृहद्मदेम विदथे सुवीराः त्वया जुष्टऋषिर्भवति देवि त्वया ब्रह्मागतः श्रीरुतत्वया त्वया जुष्टश्चित्रं विन्दते वसुसानो जुषस्वद्रविणो न मेधे मेधां म इन्द्रो ददातु मेधां देवी सरस्वती मेधां ने अश्विनावुभावा धत्तां पुष्करस्रजाम् अप्सरासु च या मेधा गन्धर्वेषु च यन्मनः देवीं मेधां सरस्वती सा मां मेधासुरभिर्जुषतां स्वाहा आमां मेधासुरभिर्विश्वरूपा हिरण्यवर्णा जगती जगम्या ऊर्जस्वती पयसा पिन्वमाना सा मां मेधासु प्रतीकाजुषन्ताम् मयि मेधा मयि प्रजा मयि अग्निस्तेजो दधातु मयि मेधा मयि प्रजा मयि इन्द्रियं दधातु मयि मेधा मयि प्रजा मयि सूर्यो भ्राजो दधातु ॐ महादेव्यै च विद्महे ब्रह्मपत्नी च धीमहि तन्नो वाणी प्रचोदयात् ॐ हंस हंसाय विद्महे परमहंसाय धीमहि तन्नो हंसः प्रचोदयात् ॐ मेधा देवी जुषमाणा न आगाद्विश्वाची भद्रासु मनस्य माना त्वया जुष्टानुदमाना दुरुक्तान् बृहद्वदेम विदथे सुवीराः त्वया जुष्टऋषिर्भवति देवि त्वया ब्रह्मा गतः श्रीरुतत्वया त्वया जुष्टश्चित्रं विन्दते वसुसानो जुषस्वद्रविणो न मेधे मेधां म इन्द्रो ददातु मेधां देवी सरस्वती मेधां मे अश्विनावुभावा दत्तां पुष्करस्रजा अप्सरासु च या मेधा गन्धर्वेषु च यन्मनः देवीं मेधा सरस्वती सा मां मेधासुरभिर्जुषतां स्वाहा आमां मेधासुरभिर्विश्वरूपा हिरण्यवर्णा जगती जगम्या ऊर्जस्वती पयसा पिन्वमाना सा मां मेधासु प्रतीकाजुषन्ताम् मयि मेधा मयि प्रजा मयि अग्निस्तेजो ददातु मयि मेधा मयि प्रजा मयि इन्द्रियं दधातु मयि मेधा मयि प्रजा मयि सूर्यो भ्राजो दधातु ॐ महादेव्यै च विद्महे ब्रह्मपत्नी च धीमहि तन्नो वाणी प्रचोदयात् ॐ हंस हंसाय विद्महे परमहंसाय धीमहि तन्नो हंसः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः So, whenever you feel complete, you can open your eyes. And today, on this very auspicious occasion of Vasant Panchami, we are going to receive a very sacred knowledge of Vedas, that how the Vedic system has been designed for learning and for success of each and every field, not just student, not just job, like job, business, and the domain of students, that how to excel in each and every field. In the previous session, we saw that how the psychology has defined everything. What are the winning secrets according to every successful person? And today we are going to dive into the Vedic dimension. So, you all are welcome for this wonderful session, and let's start.
थोड़ा वेले चेन ही बदलाय बद ना.
Please keep yourself on mute. So we are going to see the Vedic framework of learning, career, and business, all three, which is integrating the knowledge of Panchatattva with the modern success principles. So I hope we all know about the Panchatattvas which are making everything and which are permeating in each and every field. So what is the need of Prithvi Tattva? It gives stability, grounding, and foundation for all growth. We need a base to stand. If your Prithvi Tattva is strong, that means you have a strong attention power. You have those who have disturbed Prithvi, they suffer with the attention. And that is the very important element which is required for students. Patience and attention both are coming together with Prithvi Tattva. And if Prithvi is missing, one lacks in patience and one lacks in attention, one lacks in focus. And all these things leads to you know uh, like a haywire thing where we reach nowhere. And that is why it is the first element which should be very strong and very firm in us. Second is the Jalata or water element. In work, especially in business and in job, it represents relationships and our adaptability with the emotional flow. Everywhere, in each and every environment, wherever we are, we get hurt by some things. Some emotional trauma do come to us, and that's where how efficiently you handle your own mind determines that what is the level of your soft skills and where you are going to reach in next 10 years. The more emotional you are, it is really difficult for you to rise above, because uh, the Jalatatma is afflicted. Okay, it doesn't mean that being emotional is a wrong thing. No, I'm not saying that. The emotional aptitude should always uh, be in sync with what is required right now. If your emotions are taking you in a wrong direction from your goal and your growth, that is when the emotions are restricting your growth. If they are making you move forward in the direction of your goal and your growth, that's where the emotions are good and they help you. But definitely when we are in any kind of relationship, professional relationship, and the relationships which we make, like friends, work colleagues, everyone affect us and they affect our Jalatattva. So the strength and resilience of your Jalatattva determines that how much stuck you will be there, or how freely you will flow through everything. Okay. Then Agni is like the transformation energy. It is really important for those who are into the leadership role. That fire of clarity which is there in you, that what direction you should go, and you have that innate leadership qualities to lead everyone. Okay. For everyone who is into business, the Vayu Tattva is very important. See, like air moves from a high pressure to low pressure zone. Okay. Vayu Tattva is representing the demand and supply. The low pressure is demand and high pressure is like supply. And air is always trying to flow and cover this gap. The filling of gap is the prime, motive of business. Wherever you find some gaps that, oh, there is a demand and there is a gap, I must fill it. That's when a business is formed. And a big business forms when you identify a huge gap. Okay, that's when a huge demand and a huge supply, which one produces it makes money in turn, and that's where the entire society is flowing. When air flows, it keeps the nature in sync. In air is like rhythm of nature, and that rhythm is running with the flow of economy, with the flow of money, and Vayu represents that. Akash is ultimately that element which is holding everything together. So, a strong Akash is also required for leadership, learning both, because to process the knowledge and further refine the knowledge, Akash Tattva is needed. So, for leadership roles, Agni and Akash are the prime elements which one need. And for learning anything, Prithvi is very important. For handling the emotions and to give that resilience, the Jala Tattva is very important. And finally, the Vayu Tattva, which makes you accessible for the big networks. Whenever a demand and supply is being fulfilled, there is a network which is running behind it. That is linked with the Vayu Tattva. So to have connection with the big networks, the Vayu Tattva must be strong. And that's how the five elements are connected to the success of the career. When they all are in a sync, that means you have everything. But for specific roles, we need at least one element to be very strong. So let's start with the phase of student. So we all are students forever, for the entire life, but especially when we are into learning. So we can learn either some technical knowledge, any technical learning which is called apara vidya, and there is another knowledge which is spiritual learning, which is called para vidya. So either we are into the apara vidya or para vidya, we need two elements to be very strong, and they should be supporting one for these two purposes. One is Prithvi, and other one is Akasha. And Prithvi and Akash both are very good and strong. One becomes a very good student, whether he is into spiritual learning or technical learning. Now let's see that how Vedas have, correctly described both Apara and Paravidya. So for the Apara Vidya, there are four stages of transformation. Sorry, I think I am on right. Yes. So first stage is Shruti. So you have heard about the spiritual learning, that is Paravidya. When you say Shravan, Manan and Nididhyasan, this is spiritual path and learning of spiritual learning. But it is not the same case with the technical knowledge, or which is aparavidya. And that's where most of the people get confused. They take aparavidya and paravidya having same method, Shravan, Manan, and Nididhyas. No, it is not same. What is there for aparavidya, for learning something which is technical, which requires some attention and you learn some skill out of it. So first stage is shruti, which is active listening. If you are having a class or whenever you are reading a book, it should be some active learning which is involved. So shruti means registration of the knowledge, and it requires attention and a bit of processing. So what is attention here? The attention, that means you are listening to me right now. There is some driving force which is keeping you stuck on my screen. What is that driving force? You are either enjoying it or you are waiting for something to come. That is why you are paying attention here. So your desire to learn is the key feature of attention. and that comes with the Prithvi Tattva and Akash both. When Akash is very strong, one has an ardent desire to learn more and more. Okay. And Prithvi gives that stability of mind to, patiently listen and grasp everything. Here, the one which is creating disturbance is Jala and Vayu. Both creates a lot of disturbance. Jala Tattva makes you into small pleasures. Like right now, you are listening, but suddenly you have this idea. Oh, I'm feeling like I want to have a chocolate. This is coming from Jala Tattva. But whenever you are listening and some anxiety, some tension which is running behind, something which is bogging your mind, this is Vayu Tattva. These two tattvas are deviating you from the learning pathway. And what is holding you here is Prithvi Tattva. So first part is Shruti, that you should listen, because in those times it was only Shruti. Listening was the only method. There were no books when this path was described. But later on, when even books and manuscripts were written, still this path remains the same. Some active registration of information should be there. Okay. After that, second part is Smriti. This is memory formation. We think that once you have read, you must remember it, and that's not the case. Every student struggles with it. They all want to have a sharp memory that I must read it once and I should remember it. That is not possible. Okay. We are not machines which can just remember the fact as it is told. We remember something for which we have processed our brain. You only remember your processing and not what is there. Okay. You remember those things very less which you have not processed in the raw form, like a movie dialogue you remember. You don't process a movie dialogue. Okay. You just take it as it is. Or some scene, some visual things we usually take as it is. But anything which we remember involves some processing in it. And that's where the link comes, that whatever you have registered right now for memory we are going to process it. Okay. Some processing is important, otherwise you cannot remember anything. If I give you a list of 9 numbers, just remember them. It will be very difficult for you to cram everything and remember it. Okay. But if you develop some processing out of this information, oh, see, there is a pattern. Every number starts with this 9 number and it ends with this number. Some middle row is in this pattern. So the patterns which you find out in the information is called processing. That is smriti. Okay, so first is paying attention and wanting. The desire should be there that I should know it. Okay, that is Shruti, active listening, where you want to know. After that, second part should be Smriti, where you must find the pattern and process this information. And that's how you remember. And 30% of the memory is visual. Always, when you see, you remember 30%, but when you make a concept or frame anything in your mind, you remember 60% of it. Okay. And after that, third stage comes dharana, which is recall. Some students know, but when they are into a viva or an interview, this is when we face a lot of difficulty. When the same question is asked to you, you panic at that time. You cannot answer it because your smriti and shruti have taken care, but your dharana shakti was weak. You cannot reproduce the knowledge again. Okay. You cannot reproduce what you have learned. This is called dharana shakti. Okay. And this is a very crucial part because that's where you are qualified in that knowledge. If you lack in dharana shakti, you are not considered as the one who is qualified this particular subject until unless you can recall it or You can reproduce the knowledge you have learned. That's when you are qualified. And what happens when you become an expert of it? You get the fourth stage, pratighat, critical application. So what happened in pratighat? We can argue over the knowledge. So first we just actively registered it and processed into some logical pattern which made us to remember that thing. But now we are constantly, seeing it more, practicing it more. It gives us dharana that we can reproduce the knowledge back. That gives you qualification of that knowledge. Now you are qualified. Suppose a chemist, one who is student of chemistry, so when he knows the formula, reactions, everything, and when he can reproduce the same information when it is asked in the exam, that's when he is qualified, that now you know this subject. But are you an expert of this subject? No. Because when some critical question comes about that, some argument comes, now you are answerless. Can you answer an argument on your knowledge? Can you uh, process an argument which is coming? For example, if I give you an argument that the Bohr's model is having a fallacy, can you argue on it if you are a physics student? If you know Bohr's model, you can reproduce that. That is dharana. But if you can, argue that no, no, this policy which you are talking is not, it doesn't matter whether you are in favor of it or against it. But if you can put your argument, that's where you have become an expert of it. Okay. So this is the active stage of learning according to Vedas and applicable for anything which you want to learn into the physical domain, not the spiritual domain. Okay. So Shruti, Smriti, Dharana, and Pratighat. And it comes with practice. It comes with familiarity. It comes with, being into a friendship with that subject. Okay. And it comes with some kind of hard work, definitely. Practice. But along with hard work and practice, one thing which is there is consistency. Okay. Remember, we learned yesterday that system should be there. With you can reach pratighat level only with system. That's why we studied that thing first. If passing the exam is your goal, you can only come to dharana level and that's it. You can even degrade to smriti level. You remember something, though I have learned it, but now you cannot reproduce it back. But to come to the level of pratighat on any subject, you need to be consistent and you have to make it as a system, not goal. Goal is very small, like I want to crack this exam, I want to do this. That is not bad. I'm not saying goal is bad, but goal limits you to something. And that's where the winners who have reached this four level have always told that they were not having any goal. They just knew what they need to do right now. They have an exam 6 months back. They had a strategy, a plan, and they were just flowing with the plan. That's it. Now, yes, they made a goal earlier, but now they were more interested in learning that thing. That's where they reach pratighat level, that even some twisted question came, not directly, it didn't came as they have learned it, but some twists and turns they were able to manage it. And that's when you achieve the expertise level and you become out of the league. So it comes with one thing, that you have to be consistent and sincere in it. Remember Patanjali Yoga Sutra's magical line in the first sutra itself, that who is that how you should do yoga, that you should do it daily, consistently, with honor for that, honor for the practice which you are doing. Okay, then you reach the drishtu swarupa. Okay, so you should have some honor, like 100 times you have listened to same knowledge, but again at 101 time the same attention should be there. Don't get too emotional here. That's why I said Jala is a enemy of learning. Jala and Vayu tattvas are enemies of learning. You need to have Prithvi tattva, very patient. If you hit the earth with some plow and sow a seed, the earth doesn't rebukes at the person back or hit the person back. Rather, earth grows that seed and make a tree. Be patient. Okay, anything which is happening, you have to be patient and pay the same attention as you paid to it when you were learning it first time. That's where you improve. You will always feel that emotions are taking you away from the expertise level when you are into learning phase. So remember the four things: Shruti, Smriti, Dharana, and Pratighat. And who is going to stop us? Emotions are going to stop us, and distractions are going to stop us. Now, how to control both the things, emotions and both? If you see, they are fluid in nature. Gases are fluid in nature, and water anyway it is fluid. Jala and Vayu both have fluidity in them, and that's where the the major fluid which you can manage inside you, which is coming as breath. And that's why breathing practices are very important. Okay, the more go deep into the pranayamas, the sincerity with which you do pranayamas, they make you firm in learning. They make your vayu tattva balanced, and that's where you learn very well. Okay. So this was about the technical learning for every student. But now we are heading to something else, which is spiritual learning. Okay. So in spiritual learning, okay, the thing is very different from what we have studied earlier. That's why Vedas give clear, guidelines for both. People only know Shravan, Manan, Nididhyas, that is for spiritual path. Okay. Shravan means now you don't have a motive or goal. Enlightenment as a goal is also wrong. You should not have any goal here. Just flow. Okay, you can only experience it, but the experiences cannot be a goal. It comes. So those who have goal as enlightenment, it's very difficult to have it. Now we can argue that Gautam Buddha had the goal of enlightenment. That's why he achieved it. That's very well. But when he sat under that Bodhi tree and he dropped his goal that I don't care, I'm just going to do this one practice which I have learned from Vigyan Bhairava. The first sutra of Vigyan Bhairava, when Lord Buddha learned that and he practiced it continuously for 7 days, that's when he attained the enlightenment. Okay. The goal of enlightenment was the driving force, but when he dropped the idea of enlightenment, at that time he got it. And that is the most important thing here, that listen to Guru in a non judgmental manner. Earlier in material part, Shruti and processing is important because you have to remember that. But here you should receive and remember the raw words of Guru more rather than processing it more for you. The more you process the information of Guru according to you, the more it becomes a deviation. That's why, remember, if you have listened to a satsang where Gurudev was saying something important for you, please listen to that again. Okay, after 5 days, we modify that and we understand something completely different. That's why we should go back and listen to it again. Non-judgmental listening to Guru and processing beyond concepts is very important. The Shravan is not leading to more processing, it is leading to silence. When the right knowledge is hitting you, it creates silence and not the chaos. That's where you are doing the right Shravan. Okay. If you are doing Shravan in the right manner, you don't hold on to the concepts, to what you know. Sometimes it might seem that your knowledge, your what you know and what Guru is speaking are two separate things. But it's okay, hold on there. Just be there. Okay. Don't forget your knowledge. Just listen to the words of Guru. It takes you to silence. That's where the Shravan is happening. Now, again, Manan is the same thing. Whatever you have heard, you contemplate on it, but again, that contemplation leads to silence. It doesn't make much concept, it simplifies the things. And again, you are coming to that inner calmness and silence. You reach to some conclusion that leads to silence, which is also called which is also a type of samadhi. Okay. So it is called Vitarkanugam Samadhi. Okay, what Manan leads to? It leads to Vitarka. So there is a logic which is called Tarka. There is also something which is not logical or illogical, which is called Kutarka. Like a door is half open, that means it is half closed. This is logic. A door is fully open, that means it is fully closed. This is illogical thing. This is Kutarka. If it is half open, that means it is half closed. That's okay. But if it is fully open, that doesn't mean it is fully closed. Okay. So you can just stretch the half open logic to full and you can say that I have learned. That is Kutarka. Okay. And Kutarka happens when you stick to words more, when you don't reach the silence. Okay. So the correct way of Manan is when you are contemplating on something and you are getting to Vitarka, you are getting into silence. Even the processing of knowledge is leading you to Samadhi, to silence. That's when the Manan is happening. Okay. When discussion leads to more discussion, that's the where the spiritual discussion is going wrong. When discussion seems to end the discussion and lead you to meditation, that's where the discussion is going in the right direction. Okay. And the final stage is Niridhyasan. The words cease to exist and you get the experience from the words. The things which are again coming in our way here is Jala and Vayu. We need to balance both. That's when the Prithvi and Akash gains their bala. So to be on spiritual path or to excel in material path, especially in learning something, what you need to do more and more pranayamas. Otherwise, the Vayu which is constantly disturbing your mind, at least okay, material path still with time will manage, but spiritual path we cannot walk if Vayu is disturbed. And Vayu, you cannot just solve just by herbs or just by medicines or just by diet. Prana must be, channelized again and again. That's why if your Vayu is disturbed, you cannot do the Shravan Manan Nididhyasan in right direction, do more pranayama. Okay. Yeah. That leads you to right knowledge. Now, for the professional success, till now we have seen for students and learning. Again, we have to see that how we can see the framework of these three tattvas. Here, Jala tattva is important now. For learning, Jala tattva was a distraction, but on job or or business, Jala Tattva is important because now it represents relations and your resilience also, that how much emotions you can digest and move ahead. Okay. The more you keep the the relations around you in harmony, you don't indulge too much and you don't keep yourself away too much, being in the right balance, that brings harmony at the workplace, that makes you a person who is more wanted in a particular job. Prithvi again is important for constant learning and constant skills which we need. Okay. So for again, see, in whatever profession you are, especially in jobs, it is very important you keep learning every day. Okay. Because that's when we suffer a lot. We are, with time we become, expert, and we become adjusted to some kind of role, some kind of job. We don't diversify, we don't want to innovate, or we don't learn new things which are coming in the market, and that's where we suffer a lot. Chat GPT, when it came and suddenly so many professionals lost the job, this is the perfect example. All those who adapted with it, they were the ones who were able to retain themselves. But when you are, see, this is how we have been trained for. We have been trained that, okay, when you have job, when you have career, that's when you should stop learning and you should think of settling down. What is settling down? When you start settling down, that's a good thing, I'm not against it. But when you stop learning new things, when you stop innovating wherever you are, that's when your skills start to get into a rotten stage, and that's where you lose the edge every day. And it can only come when you love challenges. Okay. Take some challenging things in your workplace, don't run away from that. Okay. See, to rise high, that's Agni Tattva also, it burns something. But some extra things which we do, that make your worth better. Prithvi, and learning new skills make your worth, to a very big level. A company wants to retain you at any cost if you are, having a strong worth of yours in your skill in that area. And that can only happen when you take some challenging task, when you involve yourself into problem solving domain every time. Some little extra time when you push into your work, that gives you an extra advantage. You can just do whatever you are meant for and be free. That's okay. But when you do something extra, learn something extra, that's where you build your worth more. Okay. And a layer or a feather on the crown is added, and that makes you more worthy than others. And that's where a company cannot lose such an employee who loves the problem solving and who is efficient at it. Okay, so just stretch your career boundaries little bit, your job boundaries, and increase your skills. Take some extra thing. It can be from your domain, from other domain also, but that's where you diversify yourself. And the company wherever you are working, they do recognize that you are a valuable asset to them. Okay. And replacing you would cost them more, okay, than keeping you. And that's where the prithvi is very important. So when you maintain a harmonious relationship, when you learn everything, perfectly, when you keep your skills on the edge, cutting edge every day. And one more thing you need, definitely, opportunities. It cannot happen without opportunities. That is Akash Tattva. Akash is that, big network, or that, then, in the network, the thing which is running is Vayu, but Akash is that which is giving you luck and opportunity in your career. The ability to hold everything together is the Akash Tattva. So if you have These three tattvas strong, you always excel in job and career. Vayu tattva is like a bit of distraction here, which disturbs the Prithvi tattva and makes you more towards some thing where we get distracted from what we are doing. Understand that it is the dimension of constant focus in learning. If you have learned this one thing, you will become definitely a valuable asset wherever you are working, and you will definitely rise ahead, 10 times ahead than what others can rise. So that's why, the key area or key message here is keep your relationship well. Just try to accept and forget a lot of things around you. How others are doing doesn't matter. Just focus on your work and push your boundaries little bit extra apart from your job which you are doing. That will sharpen your dimension every day. Okay. And definitely, if you are constantly adapting, challenge yourself a bit, do some extra, add some extra value, and recognize the luck factor also, that it's okay sometimes ups and downs do come, but I should not stop myself from doing these things. They pay you more than what you think, and that's the advice from the very big short career experts, those who have been into the career counseling and those dimensions to the industry from a very long time. Okay. We think that those who are doing some extra thing, they are just buttering the seniors or something, but I'm not in favor of simple that thing, but some extra challenging thing you can take, that can definitely sharp you as a sharpen you as a diamond, and that's when you shine more. Okay. And the last thing which we should discuss is business growth. Now, the tattva which was disturbing the other two dimensions, here it is very much needed. A vast network. Okay, the demand and supply flow. What you what is the demand? You need to know that where is demand, and you need to know that how I can fulfill that demand. In in between that, there is a thing which is called profit, and that's for that business is meant for. Here, you can fulfill the demand of either the big companies, that is B2B, like business to business, or the demand of a person, consumer directly. But the core area here is demand and supply. Okay. So how to, you know, get an expertise into this thing? And that's where, you know, most important thing is constant learning. Here also learning is very important. But what you need to learn here, that where is the demand? Whatever business you are doing, like you are selling oranges, just search for more markets, more areas where people like the orange or they have less access to them, and how you can now figure out how you can fulfill that. A simple one liner thing can make your business very good. And in between, definitely you can see that is it profitable to fulfill their demand or not. If you answer these three questions, you can make any business run. Okay, any business. That's where the job person's mind is always in that I have learned the skill and I want to use my skill to get some money in exchange of my skills. Whereas a businessman always sees opportunity in demand. That where's the demand? How can I fulfill that demand? The giving nature is there. And Vayu Tattva is the thing which is fulfilling it, which is running the operations of demand and supply. So the strong Vayu Tattva is making you very good in seeing the demand. Your observations are very sharp. You see the demand very clearly. Oh, this is the point where I can. That's where the big shot businessmen are always what they are always doing. They don't need to do anything, but still they are always saying, "Oh, what all?" Even some people are working in making the demand. Okay, they like this computer which came right now. Earlier we were used to the manual work. Everything was manual. We didn't knew that how we can connect everyone. Whatever things we are using right now was a demand in some time back, and people worked to fulfill that demand, and that's how we have reached here. So always keep your eyes open. The observation is the key feature of Vayu Tattva. Observation in terms of demand and processing in terms of supply. That's it. So for students, if we summarize everything, Prithvi and Akash Tattva is very important. Okay, that's where they become very much skilled in learning. For all the four steps of Vedic learning, if Prithvi, Akash are good, they will definitely excel in it. If you are doing a job in a self-employed, that you need to sharpen your skills, learn new things, and you know go beyond your comfort zone and take some extra work, challenging work, not the routine work, some challenging work you should take, which involves problem solving in it, and that gives you an extra edge in the skills. That's where your worth becomes more. And in business, always be observant to the demand which is there. And now let's see that how we can you know come to this level where we can uh, you know balance all these elements together. Okay, so the seat of Prithvi Tattva is in the Muladhara chakra, in the basal chakra, Jala just above it, and Agni is rising above that in the Manipur chakra. Above that in Anahat chakra we have the Vayu Tattva, and in Vishuddhi chakra we have got the Akash Tattva. Okay, so these five chakras determine that what all things we will have in harmony and what all things we will have in disharmony. To align the Vayu, one thing I have told you already, that is pranayamas. So anyone who is doing more and more pranayamas, definitely you can have a stay. Akash anyway is strong with everyone. You need to meditate more to make the Akash strong. But Vayu you have to make in right direction with the pranayamas. This is the first key thing which you should remember. This is the practical thing which I'm telling right now. Okay. Now let's see how to balance the Prithvi, then Jala, and third, which is Manipur Chakra. Okay. So for Prithvi Tattva, what is important? First thing is the dimension of knowledge. If you are you know uh, having some project, anything where you need practice, that will learn to be patient and be attentive. Vayu is trying to bring more thoughts and make you away. You be like a pillar, stay there, stay there, stay there. That makes the prithvi tattva in consciousness very strong. Okay, you can read a book and now you can see after some time that how much time my mind have gone away from what I'm doing right now. Okay, that's where the prithvi becomes strong. Whenever you're doing pranayama, just focus on breath. That's it. Pay attention on breath. Whatever is running after that is vayu. Vayu Tattva is just making you to pay attention on some pain, on some this thing, that thing, thoughts which are coming. Just stay there in one thing. Merging in that one thing, what you are doing, which is also called mindfulness, makes the Prithvi Tattva very strong. And Prithvi and Akash are together. When Prithvi gets strength, Akash also gets strength. That's how they are aligned. Okay, so to make this Prithvi very strong, try to pay attention and do everything mindfully. When you are eating anything, just eat the thing. Let the mind do whatever it wants. That's where the Vayu will get calm and the Prithvi will gain more and more strength. Okay, you will become more calm person. Mindfulness is the key for Prithvi Tattva. At the level of asana, squat pose. Okay, squatting is very important. When the more you can do squats, your Muladhara chakra gets stabilized. Okay, it's difficult to stabilize Muladhara chakra. Okay, but two things: mindfulness in whatever thing which you are doing, especially doing pranayama, you should be mindful. Only pay attention to breath. That gives you stability of Prithvi and Akash. And do more squats. That also makes you strong. If you are doing some resistance like i'm I'm not building muscles, but a small weight, I'm just doing it again and again. Repetitive task makes the vayu balanced. Any kind of vayu disturbance you have, just convert it into some kind of repetitive movement. Go on a walk, keep walking, and just do it mindfully. Your vayu will get balanced. Okay, any if you can lift 2 kg weight, okay, with both the hands, to that extent when it should not make you too much painful, but just lift it. The vayu, excess vayu, gets converted to the right direction with the repetitive movement. Third thing, if you have heard about Lemurian yoga, a program in art of living, and that's a very good program which can fine tune the Prithvi Tattva and Jala both. The emotional things which are driving us back here and there. The best program which Gurudev has given is Lemurian Yoga. I think you should definitely do it. That if you practice that slow merging yoga every day, that it's like you are just raising this hand slowly, slow movements. It is very easy to do. Movement of your eyes, of your hands, everything which you are doing slowly, closing your eyes, it up, and all these asanas are there in the Lemurian yoga program, and it definitely balances the Vayu and Jala Tattva, both of them. Now you need Jala Tattva for creation. All those who are involved into some kind of creative activity, they need Jala Tattva. So for them, it is important that they should experiment with everything. Okay. How, like today, if you are cooking, try to make food with some new, whether it becomes good or bad, doesn't matter, but have a nature of experimentation. That makes Jala Tattva very strong. See, gel needs to flow. Okay, how do you flow? If you are doing the same thing in routine way, how you can bring new pattern, new thing, new creation, how you can do? The same rice you are making, but today add something extra, some bay leaf, ghee or clove, and try some new things. That makes mind constantly in to that thing, that okay, today I'll do something new, something different, and that boosts the Jalata. To make Jalatattva in right direction, always involve in doing something new, and definitely having control on the five senses, dam sampatti. Like Prithvi Tattva is stabilized by Sham Sampatti, Sham Dam Titiksha. So Sham Sampatti comes when Prithvi is stabilized. You are shant, you are calm, you are having good attention and focus. But with Dam, you can balance the Jala Tattva. Okay. Don't follow behind the cravings of mind, especially physical craving, the craving of five senses. Just, you know, be more and more content. The contentment balances the Jala Tattva. I am content, I don't have the complaint. Okay, if you are into the creative job, that's where you need a very strong Jalatattva, and it comes with more and more contentment you practice. I don't need much things, okay, and just have that thing to experiment with everything which you have more, okay. If you are doing something, try to do it some different manner. That gives you new things and dam sampatti. That I don't need anything. I am content. That contentment balances the chalata. Okay. And then titiksha for for Agni. See, when you experience some humiliating situation, when everything is making you uncomfortable, just know you can build up your titiksha powers. How much you can bear that thing which is uncomfortable. We always blame politicians and government for everything. But you know why those people are there on the government seat, not you? Because you have lesser titiksha than them. Okay. They have more power of Agni. They can take more criticism, but we cannot take that. Okay. So whenever see that just one everything which is coming in news is either making their image or breaking their image. Okay. So a make or break of image is happening at that level. Their image is their career. If their image is vandalized, everything is gone. But how much resilience they have. They can take how much criticism. That makes you that makes your Agni strong. So Agni, that's why I told you to take some extra challenge in your work every day. That makes you little bit uncomfortable, but that's when you experience Agni in small quantity every day. Okay, if you want to experience Agni, some comfort zone will be broken. When you try to take some challenging thing, your comfort zone will break, and definitely you will be having one thing which is called criticism. The family will criticize, oh, you are disturbing the family, you are taking some extra work, and it is not even paid for. Why you are doing it? It starts from the home itself. Okay, and then it rises, but to that level which you can bear, just try to bear it. Don't react in that. Let the Agni burn. The fire of criticism, let it burn. The fire of discomfort, let it burn. That makes the Agni very strong. Okay. Then the Vayu Tattva, it is the Sampatti, there is Uparati. Rati is the Sampatti which drives you to five senses. Uparati is that which takes you beyond the five senses. Higher interest, higher knowledge, higher vision, not being stuck to some small thing. Okay, being above that, higher interest. What is life? What is this universe all about? How these cosmos are made? Something bigger should attract you. That is Uparati. Okay, not small. And have the bigger interest, not the smaller interest. That balances the Vayu Tattva. If you have learned thermodynamics, when the gases get more space, they expand more, and the power or pressure which it can apply, it becomes very less. Okay, when you are focusing on some small thing, that's where that Vayu gets disturbed, and it makes you more towards the disturbance of the other elements. But when you let the gases expand in a big vessel, it cools down everything and it cannot apply much pressure on the vessel. If you are, filling a gas in some balloon, and if it is a very big balloon, it will take large time because that gas has to fill every corner and then inflate the balloon. A small balloon, lot of gas, suddenly explodes it. Okay, so remember here, the bigger vision you give, the bigger vision you have. And whenever you are working or having some bigger interest, definitely it comes with some challenges, don't worry. Just hold on to it. It will keep your Vayu balanced, and it will give you access to the bigger networks. If you won't think big, how will you grow big? Okay. So think bigger. That's why be observant. Where is the demand? Where I can fulfill the demand? If you want to be a businessman, already you are on that way. Just be more observant. Bigger thing, bigger goal, bigger than what you think. That's where, suddenly when we think I have to grow that big, the mind comes down. There is some silence which we are experiencing. Okay. The moment you have a small goal, I want to have it, some chitter chatter, everything will come to you. Okay. And that's where you can balance the Vayu. Uparati, higher interest and bigger interest. And finally, the Akash Tattva. To balance the Akash, one thing is very important is Shraddha, faith. Faith is one thing which kindles the Akash more and more in you. Okay. Everything which is falling apart, but when you hold on to the faith that something will happen, it's okay. Let me be calm, let me be composed. Okay. Having a strong faith brings the strength to Akash. Okay. And that's why Shraddha is the sampatti of Akash Tattva. And from that, you come to Samadhan, to the solution to what you can do. That's why after Shraddha, the next comes is Samadhan, the final solution which you get. Okay. So first, balance the Prithvi with Sham. That means you have to calm everything. Okay. And that how you can balance the Prithvi? First, balance the Vayu by doing a lot of pranayamas, especially box breathing. Box breathing means in the pattern count of four. Breathe in, two, three, four. Hold, two, three, four. Out, two, three, four. Hold, two, three, four. Like a box, like a quadrilateral. When you constantly breathe in this pattern, it has been observed that it calms down the brain, it calms down everything. You'll observe that you are becoming more calm. The Prithvi is calming down. And that's why we have the three-stage pranayam in this count. Okay. Just slightly different, but it is there in this count. It has a lot of, you know, logic behind it. The modern studies have proven that when you constantly breathe in this rhythm, that's where the brain and a lot of centers, amygdala and everything calms down. Okay. And the Vayu Tattva, which is creating havoc in you, it calms down. So that means if you are doing sadhana, mostly you should not experience it. If you are doing mindfully, okay. So because with time we lose that Satkara Sevito, which is the most important thing which we should hold. Okay, the honor for the technique, we lose it. Oh, I'm doing it every day. What's new in it? That's where you lose the charm, lose the thing. So what is important here? Do the sadhana very mindfully and with that, you know, curiosity which you had first time. That's where the attention comes, and eventually we improve. Okay. So Prithvi, then Jala, to boost the Jala Tattva, try experimenting every day. Try something new. If you don't want to, if you only have interest in seeing movies, try to, see those movies which are not from your taste. Okay. If you want cooking, if you love cooking, then try to cook in that manner which is new to you. Okay. Doing something new with interest kindles the Jalatattva. And to balance the Jalatattva, practice moderation, Dam Sampatti. Practice contentment. I am content. Being content balances the Jalatattva immediately. And that brings strength to the Jalatattva. Okay. Don't hold on to any complaint. Be content. Okay. Then the Agni, which can be balanced by, you know, conscious going to something which is not comfortable and growing your titiksha, growing your patience, growing your bearance there. Okay, if you love to rest in the afternoon, okay, take some time and go there, do figure out something which you can do. If you want to work for some new coming course, then just push yourself into it. Okay, so slight forbearance to the things makes you immune and brings your titiksha more and more. That's why the agni gets strength. And when a big responsibility is given to you, you are not shaken with it. It's okay, it's a regular part of me. I'm habitual of going to that thing which is not comforting. Okay, bearing that which is not giving you comfort is a skill, and that when you learn and you immune yourself every day by taking some extra work, challenging work, not routine work, that brings, titiksha in you. Agni becomes strong. For Vayu Tattva, what you need to do, have bigger vision, bigger focus, and a laser sharp, you know, uh, this attention of demand, that what I can do for everyone. Okay, that higher interest and that higher availability which you want to create, that balances the Vayu Tattva. And for business, definitely it is required more. And for Akash, faith is important. Hold on to Shraddha. Whatever has happened, something will come to me, and that's why Akash brings the luck. You know, uh, the luck is linked with the ninth house in the horoscope. It is linked with Brihaspati. Out and out, he is the Lord and the ruler. It is the Graha linked with Akash Tattva. So strengthening the Akash brings that luck to you, hidden luck to you. And that is faith. You have to have faith. Whether things are working or not working doesn't matter. You hold on to your faith, and that brings the luck. That brings that hidden factor, hidden hand which is working for you. Okay. And after that, what comes, the sixth sampatti is the samadhan. The gates are open for you. Anywhere you go. Okay, and that's how you transform yourself with the help of the knowledge of balancing these five elements. Okay, and that's where this knowledge we all have received today on the auspicious occasion of Vasant Panchami. So I want you all to grow more in it, practice it more, and definitely we'll rise together. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I think we can have our question and answers in the group now, because we are running out of time. There's some, and we'll soon meet up with a new, session again. Let's see. I'll share some, you know, new titles to you, and we can have a poll. You can definitely poll what you want to know next. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.